You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
Game on, where progressives fear us and rhinos tremble. Welcome to the political jungle. I'm JD.
This is Stacy. No one is safe. No one is spared.
Lock up the children.
And the old folk.
Welcome to the world of liberservative conservatarians.
Good Sunday evening, February 10th, 2019. JD and Stacy back in the saddle, baby, driving that game on bus once again. Yeah! Welcome back to all our political geeks, freaks, and back alley sneaks. 18 to 80, blind, crippled, or crazy. Lock up those kids and listen to our show with your baby. We'd like to thank KLRN Radio and that Ricky Ticky Tavi Rick Robinson for giving us a home once again every Sunday night, kids, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Game On's going to be live here on this KLRN Radio. Tonight, baby, we're going to be talking that Shift Snips, Virginia Moonwalk's brand new world premiere of a parody song from that Third World Ramblers and that Two Senegal and that Biko O'Donovan. Get over to chat. I don't know how to do that. I think Stacy's going to be telling you. It is good to be back behind the microphone. We only had about a 2.5, 3-year layoff. How's you, darling?
Haven't heard that intro in so long, but I still love it.
Right? I you know what? I used to listen to it. I used to crawl up in a ball and cry, cabbage-sized tears, and go, oh, my God, we used to be somebody. What's going on?
No, seriously, I'm like sitting there just bebopping in my chair going, I still love that.
Are you happy, Ma? I found a purpose in life.
Right?
We'd like to thank Rick Robinson. He's going to be producing, at least for this week. Stacey and I are usually a self-contained show. We're going to be rolling out some more fun stuff over the next couple of weeks. We got a little technical difficulties there, Edith, but Mike and the meathead and the colored fella down the block came and tried to help him out there. Huh?
Right. We tried. We really tried. Going from a Windows machine to a Mac machine, totally different world.
Oh yes, it's very the Apple products are up. What a bunch of garbage! It's all garbage. It's all garbage. The Apple products are garbage. The PCs are garbage. The Mac is garbage. It's all garbage. You know what it is? They're all made. Okay, they're all made. There are about 14 people on the whole planet who know how these things work, and they're made to confuse your average person. I can't. The back and forth that Stacey and I had this week, you people have absolutely no idea. But for those of you who are fans of the show and coming back, we want to welcome you back and thank you for listening this evening. To family and friends, well, yeah, you know who you are. I got to be nice to you guys. Stacey, you want to catch the new listeners up on a little bit about who we are, what we were doing, and what liberservative conservatarianism is, baby. Yeah.
Sure. Liberservative conservatarianism pretty much means everybody is fair game. When they do things we don't like, we talk about it. When they do things we like, we talk about that too. And let's see. We went off the air before the 2016 election, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes, I think we had stopped talking to each other and
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we went off the air before the 2016 election, at which point I was in the never Trump camp. I think we used to have quite the repertoire of sound effects for the current president of the United States, but I have since kind of changed my mind.
Oh, absolutely. And that's something we're going to touch on briefly. Stacey and I were going back and forth whether we wanted this first block to be a whole catch-up. It's going to be a meld on who we were, what we were thinking, where we're at. We're going to go into the topic of Adam Schiff and these nonsense investigations in a few minutes. But to Stacey's point, in the 2016 election, myself and I think Stacey as well, I think we were still at a point where if you had asked us, we'd tell you that we thought the mainstream media was biased. And after the 2016 election, I don't think it's biased. It's abjectly corrupt. And Stacey and I fell into the trap of Bill Kristol and the rest of the cruise directors on the SS irrelevancy, cruising into nowhere, about, Mayor Quimby can't be president. He's going to ruin the whole world. And we're like, so he offends our conservative principles, and I don't think either Stacey and I had voted for the man. Now,
we have no principles.
No, we don't. at all, except for that one woman that ran the middle school in her car after the bar. But the where I personally am, and I'm not going to speak for Stacey, is that after the 2 years, personally, I'd crawl, at least at this point, because God knows what's going to happen in the next 14 seconds. But at this point, I'd crawl over 50 miles of broken glass just to go stand in line for 2 years to vote for Mayor Quimby, just because we used to go back and forth a lot, and the conversation from a lot of people who had been never Trump was binary. Oh, well, it doesn't have to be binary. Yes, it does.
It does now.
It does, because that's what we're faced with. So, it's you have two choices. I think the stakes are too high. You're going to learn a little bit about that in this segment with these idiotic investigations. But Stacey, why don't you tell, right before we get into Schiff, why don't you tell people how you started out in the movement, who you're writing for now, where you can be found, a little bit about how you got into this?
Sure. I'll just finish what you said by saying he would actually probably have to shoot with someone in Times Square for me not to vote for him, because these people terrify me. So
it depends on who he shot.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Okay, qualifier. Let's see. So I started in the movement, started going places like CPAC. JD and I ran into each other on Twitter, kind of decided to do this podcast. We started on war. We moved to KLRN. And now if you like what I say, you can find me being a lot more serious over on The Resurgent.
Okay, yes. Terrific.
Yes, it is terrific. And Mr. Erickson, if you are leaving, I am nothing but the most erudite intellectual co-host one could have. So there will be no talking about places where the bathing suit covers or any kind of incestuous nonsense. Yeah.
Well, until the third segment.
And for those of you who just want a little flavor of what Game On is and what you can expect going forward, I think it's what the world needs, not Game On specifically, but if you think about it, it's, political talk, runs into Opie and Anthony, takes a tab of acid, and hangs out with Metallica. Personally, my background, Guadalupe, I started in radio in Tampa in 1982. It was me and Bubba the Love Sponge and a hefty bag full of cocaine, and it went from there. Guadalupe.
Oh, dear Lord. If I'd have known that, we wouldn't be doing a show.
I hate this place. Nothing works here. The medications don't work. I've been here for 7 years.
I don't hate this place yet, Rick, but you're getting me there.
I figured I hate this place was the best sound effect we had for the current political environment.
Well, you know what? It's the perfect sound effect for my current environment because JD, baby, for all them years you enjoyed that game on, he used to broadcast from you from those East Coast studios, and I just got a little fed up with that New York City, baby, and the taxes and the illegal aliens. So you know what JD thought? Yeah, let me move to Los Angeles. So now
smart move.
So now I'm out in those West Coast studios.
Your assistant city manager ended up with typhus.
Oh, did you?
I did.
Let me just tell the audience something. For those of you who have not been out to the West Coast, say in the last 5 years or so, I've been out here just about 2.5, 3 years. It is an absolute disaster out here. It is a disaster out here. Let me say this again. Disaster. There are more Mexicans in San Diego than there are in Tijuana. There are homeless people. And listen, before JD starts getting all the Media Matters emails right out of the gate, let me tell you something. The one thing that California has is a diversity of garbage because all the illegals are Central American and Mexican. All the homeless people are whacked out on heroin and are white. So when you hear all these hoople-headed idiots speaking about how diverse California is, that's basically the diversity that they're mentioning. It's a diversity of garbage. Speaking of a diversity of garbage, there's a California congressman out here, baby, who is now leading the charge against Mayor Quimby in the subpoena canon investigation. And, of course, who are we speaking with about the walking penis with eyes, Adam Schiff.
Virgin.
We should probably clarify, too, just for people who didn't listen to us before, Mayor Quimby is Donald Trump.
Good God, can't this country go one day without a riot?
I'm just saying, we kind of have our own language. After you listen to us for a while, we got a whole new language coming with the new crop, so it'll be great.
Yeah, it's like kind of going to what are they the places with the chop on the grill, the buck.
Oh, I lost the word.
Rick, chime in here. What the hell are they called? The Korean
barbecue
joint
kind of thing. Yeah.
Chop. Benihana.
There you go.
Okay, now that I remembered Benihana, I forgot why. But.
You were talking about our language. It's kind of like Benihana, chop.
Yes, everybody take notes. Stacey and I will be kicking the rust off the bicycle and chain here over the next few weeks. So just bear with us. But what we wanted to get in as we have some time left in this first segment is we wanted to get into these nonsensical investigations that are coming out of the newly headed by the Democratic Congress. And there's a difference between oversight and, to Mayor Quimby's point, harassment. Now, the walking penis with eyes, if you remember, after the 2016 election, everybody thought that this Vance was going to become the Speaker of the House. But he didn't, because at the end of the day, it turned out that everybody had to put their schmeckel on the table, and Nancy's was the biggest. So, what happened to the penis with eyes? He became the head of the House Intelligence Committee. And who are we talking about? We're talking about that Adam Schiff, baby.
Virgin.
Adam Schiff yes, the virgin Adam Schiff. Schiff was born in June of 60. He's 58 years old. He looks like he's about 14. Currently, he is the U.S. Rep in California's 28th Congressional District. He's been in Congress like the rest of these useless sacks since 2001. Before that, he was in the California State Legislature, and he started his illustrious career. Stacey, I'm going to want you to pick it up from here because I didn't know this until we started prepping for this segment. After Harvard, now we're talking about the penis with eyes. After Harvard Law School, Schiff began working as a prosecutor in the Los Angeles branch of the U.S. Attorney's Office. While an assistant U.S. attorney, he gained attention by prosecuting a case against Richard Miller, a former FBI agent convicted of passing secret documents to the Soviet Union. He springboarded his political career off of Russiagate. And we're seeing
Russiagate LA style, apparently.
And take it from there. And now we sit with these asinine investigations.
Well, first of all, Adam Schiff being head of the Intelligence Committee is about the biggest oxymoron in government as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, so he has taken the reins of the Intelligence Committee, and according to what I am reading, he is now saying that he is going to launch investigations into Trump's complete financial picture to include his business and personal finances in order to try to find some connection or leverage that countries such as Russia or the Saudis may have. I find that rather hysterical for a number of reasons. I'm not sure how they're using that leverage if they have it, but apparently he has voted down or kicked to the curb the investigations that Devin Nunes, the former chair, wanted to do. He was actually running concurrent investigations into both the Trump campaign and the Clinton campaign because of their dalliances with Fusion GPS.
I love the way that you say dalliances, because Glenn Simpson and let's back up a second. For those of you who just were born about 14 minutes ago and happened to turn the show on, Fusion GPS is something that's way too common in Washington, D.C., and it's a hybrid of attorneys and journalists and former lobbyists, and to be completely honest, whether it's in the garbage humans, and whether it's in the political realm or whether it's in a business, they're basically an oppo research firm, but they cost a lot of money because they have all of these quote unquote, people with these big resumes. And look, you show them the person and they'll go find the crime. It is detestable politics by detestable people. And it's culminated in a 2-year investigation. Look, do I understand that Donald Trump can be his own worst enemy sometimes in the way that he presents things? Yes. For anybody listening to this show who wants to have a conversation about whether or not the policies that this man has pursued, regardless of what you feel about him personally, are not conservative, let's talk after the show. And I'm going to spend 14 seconds explaining it to you, and then the other 3 minutes just beating you about the head with a chair, because you're not a serious person. So if right out of the gate, if you have a problem with the president, fine. It's your right to. But be honest about what it is. Be honest that it's a problem about tone, not so much about policy, excluding tariffs, which I'm not exactly sure where I fall down to. But I didn't want to.
I'm a little, yeah.
I don't want to digress too much. I want to go back to the penis with eyes and the head of the not so intelligent committee. So he comes out and says that to Stacey's point, his investigations are going to touch on the president's personal finances as they relate to foreign entities. Okay, fine. You can make an argument that maybe that's proper oversight. I personally don't believe that it is.
Well,
however, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Not when you're looking for leverage from Russia. Let's just the short list. Trump has armed Ukraine. He's increased NATO spending by making other people pay their fair share. He left the Iran deal, who is Russia's proxy in the Middle East. He's increased sanctions on Russia. If he's like a Putin stooge, he's the worst one I've ever heard of.
Yeah, but it's not about that. It is about that, but you know what? It's about perception versus reality. And again, I don't think he helps his own cause. But to be completely honest, this is not oversight. But if it is oversight, for those of you out there, I know Rick Wilson, you're listening because you can't help yourself, baby. If it is about particular oversight, then okay, I'll play along with the game. But the rules are set by the relevant committees that are doing the investigation. In this particular point, the House Intelligence Committee, well, whether it's Schiff or the rest of these hoople-headed jackasses who have just run around making abject fools out of themselves, whether it's Kavanaugh or anything else where a rumor, smoke, no fire is enough to convict somebody in the public eye and have them gone. We'll talk a little bit about this coming up in the second segment. However, the same standard then must apply to the investigators, and we ran way, way close to time here. We're going to have to punch out to break, but I would like everybody in the audience to look up Ed Buck. Who's Ed Buck, JD? I'm glad you asked, Bob. You're going to have to ask Google, but in the short time that we have you, Ed Buck is one of the most prominent donors to the Democratic Party out of Los Angeles to Adam Schiff personally, as well as tons of money to Ted Lieu and to Stacey's off-air comment, creepy donations to Kirsten Cinema.
Creepy?
He has, it's been an open secret for years that he likes to take male escorts and have them injected with methamphetamine, do weird, creepy sex acts on them, and have them dead. That can't be right, JD. Look it up, kids. There have been 2 dead found in his home. Correct, Stacey? I think we're running about 30 seconds.
Correct.
So, right. And so now nobody in the media is mentioning this. However, here we are having to stare down this guy, with a straight face going up there and saying if the president of the United States, even talked about opening a bank account to put in a Russian ruble, then he must be impeached. However, for whatever reason, injecting African-American male escorts with methamphetamine while you do weird stuff and have 2 of them find dead in your home is not something that we have to worry about. Rick, about how much time we have before we go into the
If the board would stop freezing, I could take you to break now, which we can do now.
We'll be right back.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
Whether we realize it or not, everyone has been impacted by addiction. We all have family members, we all have friends that have faced this demon. But there's hope. There's hope in recovery. There's hope when we work together to rise above the plight of addiction. I'd like you to join Mac Mullings every Saturday from 2 to 4 p.m. on Rise Above Radio on KOKC 1520 AM, where they talk about the hope that is available to all of us.
Welcome back to Game On. JD and Stacy here on the KLRN radio. We want to thank everybody coming to listen to us tonight again as we return after a 2.5, 3-year hiatus. I don't think we've done the math yet. Otherwise, we'd know for sure. Everybody get into that chat room right now. Say hello to Stacy because she's a lot smarter than I am. I can't even figure out how to get over there. We'd like to thank once again Mr. Ricky Tiki Tavi Rick Robinson for agreeing to produce us this evening. Yeah, baby.
I have missed you calling
and
me
taking
that,
that valuable time out of his day. And Rick, before we come back live here, I don't care what anybody says, okay? Asking Stacy to Skype this topless, I thought was offensive.
Oh, my God.
Come on. Somebody had to ask. Why you got to throw me under the bus? You're the one that sent me the text message.
Get off my show and go back to muting in your cage, producer boy.
Wow.
Wow, we got the first segment in the tank. How does that feel, Miss Lemons?
Like it's been a long time.
Oh, my God.
It's been a really long time.
You know what this is like? This is, it's Stacy's the radio wife, but in this particular case, this is like going out for the first date after the 5th divorce and remarriage.
Right, there you go. There you go. Oh, dear Lord.
So for anybody who Googled Ed Buck in the commercial break, I apologize for the vomit that I'm sure worked its way into your mouth because it's an absolutely disgusting story. However, we go from disgusting. I don't know if this is a disgusting story or not, but I do know that it has given me a shot in boner that you could hang a rack of suits off. And what are you talking about, JD? I'm glad you asked, Bob. What I'm currently talking about is the state of affairs and politics down in Virginia. Now, our producer's from Virginia, too, so he ain't too bright, and that's why the music took so long. But what we're going to talk about is this absolutely farcical nonsense going on in the state of Virginia. Now, I always thought that Virginia was for lovers, but evidently Virginia is for blackface parties and rape. I mean,
and where are the white women at?
Exactly. Yeah, where the white? Yeah, they're in the lieutenant governor's office right now with a mouthful of.
You.
That wasn't a sound effect. You can't.
Dear God. Okay, we're putting Fairfax aside for a second. I just want to do a disclaimer. I am not a fan of this things you did 35 years ago that were dumb and stupid when you were supposed to be dumb and stupid, like your teenage years in college, right? Coming back and, coloring every contribution you've made to society since then. However, the left made the rules, and I will enforce them until they knock it off.
Good Lord, that's why I like you and you get me excited. Absolutely with the new rules. Look, they're the ones. Excuse me, I would like to. What the hell was the? Hold on a second, Stacy. I think there's. Hello. Yes.
Hello.
Yes. Hello. This is Bernie. I had been listening to the show that you had, and your producer was nice enough to loop me in to talk about the Virginia situation here. And, Bernie Sanders, everybody knows who I am. I'm a big deal. It was big in 2016. I am watching what is going on in Virginia, and it reminds me of an issue that I had myself. In 2016, Bernie was told that I had a problem with the coloreds. I did not know at the time that I had a problem with all of the coloreds. You have to understand, I am the senator from Vermont. The blackest person I have ever met is Jerry of Ben & Jerry's, because Obama doesn't count because he's a halfie. But I digress.
Used to be with it.
Oh
then they changed what it was.
Wait, what? So anyway, regardless, I don't know why we even have a producer doing the show. So anyway, so I had a problem with the coloreds in 2016. So I said, okay, fine. So now I come back and it's going to run in 2020. And now I have a problem with the women. And I'm just asking you, Stacy, do you think I'm going to have a problem with just the women, just the coloreds, or only the colored women? Okay.
I think it's number 3. Because you usurped Stacey Abrams' talk, supposedly, according to all of the papers. So I think you're going to have a big problem with both.
And to Stacey's point, thank you, Bernie. I appreciate you coming on. Rick, thanks for letting Bernie through. I guess we can forget about iHeartRadio right after the first show.
Right? Probably any platform other than Rick's.
Are you saying it was not true? They said I had a problem with the colors?
No, they did. They did.
I'm sorry. So
You're not sorry.
Oh, no.
You're not remotely sorry.
Let's go back to there's so many factors at play. Now, for those of you who are just coming in, I don't want you to get confused. Stacey and I are not speaking about this in the context of how we personally believe. We're speaking about this in the context of we're very happy to play by the new rules the left has laid out for everybody. So that's where we're starting from. Forget about our personal preferences, okay? We are now playing by the new rules of the left. So from the new rules of the left, let me get this straight. The state of Virginia, which was the heart of the Confederacy, for those of you who went to public school, not so much a good look or good time in our country's history. You have these two white crackers who have admitted to being in blackface for whatever reason. Now, before you start popping off, they didn't do it when they were 14. One of these morons was in medical school and was 25 or 26 years old. Yeah, but JD, it was 30. It was 1985, Bob, not 1885. Since when has that been okay? Evidently, except in the Virginia State House. So now, follow me. New rules. You're going to keep the two racist crackers who dressed up in blackface, one of these idiots who, if his wife wasn't next to him in the press conference, was going to moonwalk for the press. Okay? We're going to keep these two fossils that have put... Do you know how hard it is to get shoe polish off? No, I don't know how hard... Nobody knows how hard it is to get shoe polish off your face, you jackass, because nobody does it. They're going to keep these two generalese, and they're going to get rid of the black guy, Stacey. That's exactly what they're doing.
Well... I'm kind of with, because what did I scream during the entire situation with Brett Kavanaugh? Like, due process, you need credible allegations. It seems like the allegations against Fairfax are a lot more credible than the ones leveraged against Brett Kavanaugh. But the man is saying due process, and what I would like to see is more of the left saying due process for situations like those. But I mean, certainly if he is guilty of what has been alleged, he probably needs to go.
This is who, Fairfax?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm with you on that, but I need this is why we're kind of playing it up and being semi-serious, because there's a really serious component to this. Mm-hmm. The left, and don't doubt this for a minute, folks. And if there's anything that you take away from this show, there is nobody that Stacey and I detest more than the progressive left, than the feckless right. We despise the feckless right more than the progressive left, because this is the point where power politics should be in play. Let's break down the timeline. Moron number one has a picture in blackface, and listen, not just to have it be a semi-weird scandal, it's next to a guy in a Klan hood. Moron number one for 72 hours can't remember whether he's either Al Jolson or the Grand Kleagle. Okay. Then he comes out and says, well, I didn't do this. All right. Now, what happened with all the presidential candidates in the left? They rushed to get this guy gone without due process. Why? Because if Northam had been a successful governor before this and got reelected, Fairfax is their Obama in the wings. He's an up-and-comer. They thought that they were going to have Fairfax fast-tracked by 2 election cycles. So everybody runs out, let's get rid of racist Northam. Okay, great. Well, then it comes out that Fairfax is pushing people's face into his hammer that don't want this and trying to choke them to death. And at the same time, the number 3 behind him had to come out and say that he dressed in blackface too because he's a little older than moron number one. So instead of doing it in homage to Michael Jackson, he did it homage to Curtis Blow. Okay, now the left is stuck because you have criminal allegations against Fairfax that sound credible, though I am with Stacey on due process. But they came out and screamed for the head of Northam. You cannot get rid of Northam without getting rid of Herring, which is number 3. For those of you who don't follow Virginia politics closely enough, the number 4 in line of succession is a Republican. And the reason that they can't have all 3 of these guys go is because coming into the 2020 election, there's a redistricting and a gerrymander about to come up in Virginia, and the Dems are in control. There is no way in hell they're going to allow a Republican to draw those lines. But what's their biggest problem, Stacey? They just launched all of these loony left momos to run for president who were going to spend the next 2 years doing nothing but identity politics. And now they're running for president of the party that's trying to figure out how either not to give Virginia back to the Republicans or how to keep the blackface crackers and get rid of the black guy who allegations are a little more serious. That, to me, is the most ridiculous part of this.
Well, I find the whole thing rather ridiculous just because I do. Like, where was the Fusion GPS in Virginia that nobody ever found this during the election? I mean, you had both of these guys, running around the state of Virginia screaming that Ed Gillespie was a racist, saying we must save Virginia from this racist, white supremacy, blah, 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 blah. And what kind of scandal do we have now?
A blackface one?
Exactly. And I also look at 1984, and maybe I'm a little more forgiving than you, but in 1984, Different Strokes was still on TV. Eddie Murphy was doing Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood on Saturday Night Live, and we weren't that far past Archie Bunker and the Jeffersons. We were still working a lot of this out in the public sphere, right? So but I know history starts yesterday for the identity politics group, so if you did something 50 years ago that runs into PC culture now, you're screwed. But again, their rules, I'll play by them. I think all 3 of them ought to go because right now, guys, if this was a Republican, he'd already be gone. He'd already be gone because the party would have made him.
But you want to know, I'm glad you said that. The party would have made them because the party is made up currently at its leadership levels of eunuchs. They do not know how to play power politics. Listen, Stacey and I know there are some people that listen to the show that are in the movement. We know that there are some congressional aides that listen to the show. We got some nice messages welcoming us back. So for those of you who are listening to the show, this is JD and Stacey's Game On advice to all you young politicos out there. You want to move up the ladder. The state of Virginia has handed you 2 racists and a rapist. The number 4 behind those 3 is a Republican. If Virginia stays in Democratic hands between now and the 2020 election, you should all be fired. Let me start asking questions. What the hell is it that any of you do for a living except try to convince John Kasich to give you a ton of money to lose in the primary 107 to -5?
Oh, yuck.
But this is my whole point with these people. Look, everybody listening to the show, everybody who's engaged, they don't have the power of somebody who's in D.C. Well, you're there. What do you – I don't want to read – what do you think the left would be doing right now if the right had served them up in a state, in a pivotal state, in a not yet blue but purple state? 2 racists and a rapist, and number 4 was a Democrat, and the top 3 idiots are Republicans. The state would have changed party hands about 10 days ago. And that's what makes me sick about this. It's not even what these idiots did with Fairfax. Look, it's disgusting and it sounds more credible than Kavanaugh. I have a lot of questions. This never came. How this never came. So I can't even put together in my head how the fact that this guy was doing horrific things to women against their will came out because it came out that the governor wore blackface. Yeah. I don't know from where this information is coming out. But the Republicans on the Hill knew this because Bobby Scott's office knew this for over a year. So everything leaks out of Capitol Hill, Stacey. Are you going to buy for a second that there weren't Republicans going into the 2018 election who didn't know about this but was so scared that they just nothing?
I honestly don't know. But, now we've got yearbooks being looked at in North Carolina. Like this is like the new thing. It's a trend. And you know what worries me personally? Good people are going to stop running for office. Like if we keep this up, nobody who ever had a sense of humor, said anything off color, or did anything fun is ever going to run for office again.
No, well, you want to know what?
I wouldn't
run. I think what you have to do is I think you have to wrap yourself around the Mayor Quimby model. You just look, everything's out there now, so you have to embrace it. We can't. Rick, how much time we got left here before we go?
30 seconds.
Ooh. What do you think, Stacey? 2 segments almost in the can. Feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Woo, baby. JD and Stacey here. Game on. About to punch out the break. Before we do that, go tighten up your drink, tighten up your stink, tighten up whatever helps make you think. Get back here because in 3 minutes and 30 seconds, the world premiere of our favorite things by that 2 Senegal and that Beaker O'Donovan of the Third World Ramblers, baby. We'll be right back.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq, Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
JD Stacy here at Game On that KLRN radio, welcoming back all our political geeks, freaks, and back alley sneaks. Hey, everybody right now, get over to that chat room. Say hello to Stacy. Join the party that's going on in there. We want to thank you for listening to our welcome back edition of Game On. Just had a little 2.5, 3-year hiatus. Covered a little of that Virginia nonsense, a little Schiff investigation. Segment 3 as we go on is going to be something we call Nonsense of the World. We'll cover some funny and lighter things. And Stacy, this whole radio thing, this is great. This is the first show back. You know, it's like having sex in high school. We've got 2 sessions behind us and the third one within an hour to close us out here.
Wow. That's not how I remember that at all. But okay.
Well, that's because you were sleeping with your teacher. So anyway.
Oh God. First time topless on Skype and then that? Are you serious?
I didn't have that planned. You just gave it to me.
Dear Lord.
We also want to thank Rick Robinson for being kind enough to produce for us this evening. You can catch Rick. I have no idea what the schedule is, but he's live. He does about 14 different shows every day. If you remember in Living Color, he's the Jamaican. Yes, I have 14 jobs, man. I go to my new one now. Yeah, so Rick is covered in all the shows. Before we get into the nonsense of the world, to punch it out, Stacy and I were very blessed when we started this. We caught a little bit of lightning in a bottle, and we've been surrounded by phenomenal people and 2 of the most talented people, great minds and intellects too. But when it comes to lyric writing, music, vocals, you can find them on social media. You know, I don't like giving people's names out, but you get over there, you get over to that number 2, the word Cynic Al, 2 Cynic Al, and that Beaker O'Donovan over there at that Polyfoam Pontiff. Together, they make up what is known as the Third Rail Ramblers, baby, and they have been nice enough for when we started. They used to do parody songs for us. They've gotten way bigger than I could have ever imagined, and they were gracious enough to have something ready for go for Stacy and I's Game On comeback show. And ladies and gentlemen, Stacy and I, KLRN Radio and Game On, are proud to give you the world premiere from that 2 Cynic Al, that Beaker O'Donovan, and Third Rail Ramblers, baby. Our favorite things. Drop the track, Ricky boy.
Blackface on photos in yearbooks once missing. Next to the Klansmen, it's really quite fitting. Claiming the parties have switched or something. These are a few of our favorite things. Late-term abortions and profits of oodles. There is no guilt when you haven't the scruples. Infanticide, a convenience thing. Reveling in donor money it brings. Don't you know democracy, it dies in darkness, and we should believe in all women regardless, unless of course that it should come to be counter to the Democratic Party. Oh, those cis whites, patriarchy makes me feel so mad. We'll simply start taxing most everything, you know what I mean, comrade. Wide open borders, you know we're quite gracious, and if you oppose them, it's clear you're a racist. Swelling the ranks of our voters, oh, we love us some intersectionality. Palestine's freedom, the region adjusted, push Israel into the sea of discussion, most worthy to have, if you would ask me. Just think of how much less oppressed they would be. Smirking white bastards of privileged upbringing, Catholic schools to intolerance clinging, they have no place in our democracy. Think of how much better off we would be. Oh, those cis whites, patriarchy, they make me so mad. We'll simply start taxing most everything, you know what I mean.
lost it at all, have they? Good Lord.
No, they have not.
They are some of the smartest people that I've ever had the privilege to deal with. I just, and we got some, I haven't even told you, Stacey, we got a little creative. We dropped a couple of new ideas, maybe with some of the new groove. Yeah.
Really? Well, I'd love it if we got to play Stacey's song again.
Yeah, well, you want to know what? We'll figure that out in a month. We want to thank that 2 cent a gallon, that Beaker O'Donovan. I absolutely love that song. That is our favorite things. We're going to figure out a way. We'll have that posted up at Spreaker soon, guys, so that you guys can take a listen to that whenever you like. So now we like to close the show with some nonsense of the world, baby. We had 3 stories. You know what I wanted to start with, because I haven't even read it? I read the headline, right? Coca-Cola launching new flavor for first time in a decade. Would you bear with me for a second? Uh-huh. Without reading the article, where my head went was to, we'd like you to try our new Coca-Cola flavor. It's called Prison Rape.
Oh, yuck. No.
Tell Bill.
He never was a spokesperson for Coca-Cola.
Yes, he was.
I only remember Jell-O pudding pops.
Oh, now that I'm in jail, would you like to suck on my Jell-O pudding pop?
Oh, God. That just depresses me. I can't even.
No, he was. Listen, there is this in Eddie Murphy, Delirious, which was his first big thing. He's on the phone with Richard Pryor, and he's all upset. He's like, "Oh yeah, Richard, he goes, yeah, I did the big show." He's like, "I got a call from Bill Cosby," and Richard's like, "Well, what'd he say?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, he told me that I cursed too much, and that's no good." And Richard Pryor says to Eddie Murphy, he goes, "Do you get paid for what you do?" Eddie Murphy's like, "Yeah." "Do people laugh when you're on stage?" Eddie Murphy says, "Yeah." So Richard Pryor tells Eddie Murphy, "Then tell Bill I said to have a Coke and a smile and shut the E up." So that's how.
I see.
So why don't you tell us what Coca-Cola is trying to do here besides having Cosby Show rape flavor?
Well, this sounds worse to me than New Coke, and we all know what happened there.
I thought New Coke was methamphetamine.
Yeah, well, a different kind of New Coke, but So Coca-Cola announced on Friday it's releasing 2 new fruit-flavored varieties to its lineup for the first time in more than a decade. If you haven't done it in 10 years, maybe you shouldn't. Orange Vanilla Coke and Orange Vanilla Coke Zero. So do you remember the Orange Julius when you were a kid? The orange popsicle with the vanilla? Yes. That's the flavor that's going in Coca-Cola. And so it's going to taste a lot like, supposedly, the orange flavor with the cream flavor with a little bit of Coke, like a really weird Coke float is what that's going to be.
When you said 2 fruit flavors, I just went to Cory Booker and Lindsey Graham. I'm sorry.
Oh, jeez. You leave Lindsey alone. Lindsey Graham 2.0 is okay with me.
However, for those of you who are following around, Cory Booker's nickname on the show here for Stacey and I Game On through the rest of the election is $3 bill. For those of you who don't know what that means, ask a friend or a coworker. After you get written up about it, you can come back and tell me how funny that is.
Yeah. Go to Urban Dictionary.
Well, does it say, what is the impetus around here? I mean, do you remember when they changed Coke Classic and it was New Coke and then the world lost their mind? I think that's, to be honest, I think that's when the cars had to come back. Why was there anything about what the impetus, why they're doing this?
They got to do something. Got to do something to pique interest. They did that whole thing with the Diet Coke where they got raspberry and lime and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So this is a new flavor to the Coca-Cola itself. I think it sounds horrific, kind of like those strawberry nut M&Ms, which should just be outlawed. But yeah.
Yeah, well, when you said that, it's just, I mean, was that the pitch in the boardroom? Listen, we're going to change up one of the most iconic brands in beverages. Okay, boss, why are we doing that? Because it's time for something new. Yes, but we're a multi-billion-dollar multinational corporation that's built on this recipe. Yes, but this is new. Yeah, but nobody's really calling for it. Yes, but this is new. Jesus, God on the cross. All right, I'm done with it.
Well, I mean, it's meant to be like a compliment to cherry Coke. It's another. You can still get regular Coke.
Now you
regular Coca-Cola. You now have this flavor choice, which I don't think I would ever make.
You sent me an article. Is everybody still with me?
I'm still here.
You sent me an article on chips. This is, I guess, about leaving the State of the Union. Chimps use branch as ladder to escape Belfast Zoo enclosure. Was that about Congress getting out of the?
No. I was thinking we should probably send chimps there from Venezuela so they would have a way to get away from the people who are trying to eat them because they don't have food.
I thought Maduro was the chimp from Venezuela.
Oh my God! How much longer is that going to go on?
Until we no more petals left for us to eat. Come on, they're eating dogs. All right, I think we got Rick. Where are we working with? About a minute here?
Yeah, well, we're at 55 after, so you got about a minute-ish, I think.
Right, Stacy, it was a video. I'm going to get myself in trouble. Dolphin sex. Take it away.
Well, apparently there was a tourist down in Cuba, and she was on a dolphin spying tour, and she was sitting on a dock. And for those of you who don't know, male juvenile dolphins are exceptionally horny. So the male dolphin came out of the water and did his business on the lady.
Sitting on the dock of the bay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Evidently, this dolphin ain't gay.
Right? I mean, she couldn't do anything. She was literally pinned on the dock.
Sitting on the dock of the bay with the dolphin in my behind.
Oh, God, now we've got the spy dolphin in the chat room. Dear Lord.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank you for rejoining us for what is now, always has been, and will be in the future to come the fastest hour in conservative radio. I want everybody to thank my absolutely beautiful, but more than beautiful, brilliant co-host, that Miss Stacey Lennox, that Ricky Tikki Tavi, Rick Robinson, and that KLRN Radio. Now, usually Stacey and I punch out. Tonight, we're not driving because we decided to get drunk, so the boss has the keys. Rick, start that car up and get us the hell out of here. I love it. I haven't recorded it yet. Tell the nice people where you can be found.
I can be found at Scotsfire, SCOTSFYRE on Twitter, at The Resurgent, under my name, Stacey Lennox, as well as on Facebook.
And I can be found on that at GameOnJD on the Twitters. We'll be back, folks, every Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on KLNR Radio. Brick, ring that thing up and get us out of here.
I'm looking for you, you Occupy freaks with your glitter bombs. Bring it on! Bring on the glitter. Everything has changed. Everything has changed in the last few years. Conservatives used to take it, and we're not taking it anymore.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your health care? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their health care. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your health care, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your health care while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.